question is, are we Arabs or African or neither nor? We are Sudanese.
Yes.
And as you mentioned just now, that why do we, because of the position in geography, that we are sometimes being sent to the Arab region and sometimes sent to the African region. This is why I think why Africans are not very concerned about Sudan, because Sudan doesn't give a damn about Africans, and we think that sometimes we are more superior than African, which is too bad. And the Arabs think that we're not Arab. We are African. We are Negroes. Yeah. And this is the dilemma which we are on it. Yeah.
I agree. But I think also the question for me is to a large extent that now we see identity as personal, as opposed to something that for the whole country. I agree that we are Sudanese first, that we are Africans as well. Some see themselves as Arab, some don't see themselves as Arab within Sudan. But I think no one can say that we're not African, right? However, do they identify as African? Then I think the question is not everyone identifies as African. So I think this is where there's a dilemma for the Sudanese people about their identity. But we're not exploring that. And we are also made to choose. And for me, the question is not choice. The question is, we can tick as many boxes as we want. And there is no either or.
No, but Dina, I think the problem is that our governors.
Yes, I agree.
Choose that to be Arabs.
Yes.
To be Muslims. So this is really is the problem.
Yes, because they have not even asked us.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We have no say in how they perceived who we are.
Yeah.
And this is why I think.
And this is why this conflicts, and this is why our brother and sister in South Sudan has separated.
Yeah.
Because our rulers say that we are Arabs and we are Muslims, ignoring all the other multiculturalism which we have in Sudan. And similarly, it is the same which happened now to the Darfur, to the non-Arab in Darfur, and so non-Arab in South Kordofan and Nuba Mountains.
Yes.
So this is the problem which is created by our rulers.
Yes, but also I think what has impacted that even more is that we have not had an open space to discuss all of these issues, right? So, for example, do we, as people who come from Khartoum or what is traditionally known as North Sudan, do we recognize the wrongs that have been done in the south? Do we recognize the wrongs that have been done in Darfur? Largely not.
Or Nuba
Mountains. But I think this is less to do with the identity. I can have an identity, whatever it may be, but I can also recognize where mistakes were made, where wrongs were made. But there is something in the narrative that somehow keeps all discussions around wrongs that have been made to these large parts of the country out of discussion, no mention of it whatsoever. So this is why I think, yes, identity is one thing, but it's also needs to be supported by everything else. Where is the common discussion around what has gone wrong?
But also, I think some of these problems created by the colonialism.
Yes, it's
and,
true.
And I think the setup of Sudan structure, the setup of Sudan governing body is creating more problems. Now, tribalism is going up. And racism now, after the war, now is going another up. And I think this is the problem. I don't know why they say that I am belong to this tribe or that tribe. I live in Khartoum North all my life.
Yeah.
And then they ask me, what is your tribe? I really don't know what's my tribe. I thought, yes, my father, my grandfather came from a certain part of the country, but that does not mean that I should be the same.
You identify with that. But I think, I think largely um, in the past, when questions about tribes come along, it's more about people trying to identify with each other. Yeah. What's your tribe? Oh, yes, yes, because this is close. So it was a discussion that has not been rooted in racism, that has not been rooted in division. But somehow now, with the political problems, it has a simple question about identity, which should be normal for people, by the way. The first thing you ask someone is where you're from. But it is a
Yeah.
neutral question. It's not loaded with anything political or racist, but the context itself is what makes it racist. And this is really sad, I think.
No, but
I want to say I'm from X and X tribe and be okay with this. And then you tell me also what your tribe is, and I'm okay with that. But I think we're not there yet. Or
yeah,
we've been there at some point, but then something happened and destroyed all of this.
yeah, I think, particularly the Bashir
Yeah,
regime
yeah, yeah.
has made a lot of effort
Yeah.
to use tribalism as
Yes,
a
a division.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
or as a tool
To
to
divide
yeah, to
people.
divide and to cling to power.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, yeah. And it's used in the conflict. I mean, in the most hideous ways, is to say to one tribe to take arms and weapons against another one in a way that we have not ever seen in the country before. We have not seen that before.
Yeah.
Despite all the differences or whatever, we have not had a situation where one tribe is pegged against the other.
Yeah, and I think the question which Joseph asked earlier about it, why educated people are not
Yeah.
do the same thing as they are others, or as they are out of the country, because I think the military governments which
Yeah.
came to which governed Sudan for the last
30 years, no?
30 years,
Yeah.
more than that, even
Yeah, more
before.
than 30 years, yeah.
They think that the problem of toppling these governments, this military government or dictatorship, is coming from the educated people,
Yeah, that's true. That's
university students, and
Yeah,
this kind of things.
lecturers.
Lecture, and this why now they think that trying to get rid of these people,
Yes.
in a way or another, that is the way which they could continue
And-
in
And they
power.
were right.
Yeah.
Because when they stifled civil society and when they stifled the educated people, that's when they managed to get away with everything that they have gone away with.
Yeah. And they never respect education. They never. And they never did anything to promote education in institution. In fact, the
They weakened it.
the 30 years,
Yeah.
it is just part of their policy to suppress
Yeah.
education and the elites.
Yeah. Yeah. The educated elite, definitely. Yeah.
I really don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know Shaigi. I haven't been, as I said, I haven't
Yeah,
been.
because when in those days, Girshab, it was not a source of division. When you grew up, it was fine. It was a social construct, nothing more than that, right?
Yes, yeah.
But it became a monster.
I grew up in Khartoum North, where there was Coptics, there
Yes.
was
Yeah.
Nuba people, there was people from Darfur, and we never thought a minute that these are different from us.
No.
Yeah, and now everybody, as you said, that everybody asks, are you from where? From Darfur?
Yes.
And now it is only people who study sociology who can know the tribe of Sudan.
That's true.
Sometimes now we recently there's a murmur, or and there is Maharis, and there is all this kind of thing which I never thought about.
Yeah.
People think that Sudan has more than 400 kinds of
tribes, yes,
of
and
tribes.
languages as well. How many languages there are? Yes, indeed.
And I think languages, again, it is the wrong policy of the of the governments, because they try to suppress other languages. Yeah.
But you know what I learned? I learned that this is exactly the same way that the colonizing powers have done in other African countries as well. with, for example, when you try to register your name in a school, they say to you, no, what's your Christian name, as
Yeah,
opposed to the tribal name that you've been given from
yeah,
birth.
yeah,
So, and I think basically the government that has come about in Sudan, they basically adopted the same technique.
yeah.
Where's your Arabic name? Well, you don't have an Arabic name. You heard some of the military leaders who spoke about the other names that they had and
Yeah,
how
yeah,
they, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I
it's very
think
sad.
I think we have to think back and say that
We
let
have
us start from
scratch.
scratch.
Yes, we
Yeah,
have to deconstruct everything and
yeah,
start to rebuild it
yeah,
again,
yeah,
definitely. At least the social norms and social acceptance of what is, what's the contract really, that brings people together.
and I think this is as you rightly said that this is not only applied to Sudan but also to many of the African countries.
Absolutely, absolutely,
And I
yeah.
think some of these problems are came
From the colony.
by external factors and
Yeah,
some of them by internal factors.
that's true.
Yeah.
True.